There you go, folks. My Licorice is alive with Charlie Parker's Billie's Bounce. That's another one of those bebop anthems, this time in the blues form. And for the uninitiated, the blues is a 12-bar form, which is really at the root of all things jazz. So much of our music, even rock and everything that we sit on, to a large extent, stems from the blues. It's one of the major roots into the earth for the American 20th century musical sound. So Charlie Parker, he updated and modernized that form by altering the chords, and the result yields a hipness and a swing, and that provides really the musical featherbed for one of the coolest blues heads ever conceived. And at a jam session, when someone calls for blues in F, the first go-to head is inevitably Billie's Bounce. It was first recorded in 1945, and that tune and others really lifted the curtain to a new age in music, and that age became known as bebop. And the original ensemble that recorded Billie's Bounce firstly was the 19-year-old musical prodigy, Miles Davis, on the trumpet. Dizzy Gillespie actually was on the piano. Curly Russell, another jazz modern stalwart, was on bass. And the awesome Max Roach on drums, who would later come to even more fame with Clifford Brown. And, of course, then you had Charlie, who was the composer, and on the alto sax was really at the point of that fearsome musical spear. Anyway, these cats, they really set the bar for the wave of jazz giants to follow. Other recordings of note, first on the clarinet, one of my heroes, on the Licorice, he who kept the Licorice alive. He actually was sort of the one clarinetist who was able to make that leap into the small jazz combo realm. He really was the Pied Piper of bebop on the clarinet, none other than Buddy DeFranco, also another great recording. Buddy DeFranco did it live. It's called the Buenos Aires Concert. He did a really great version of it. Stan Getz and J.J. Johnston, who was a trombonist, they combined together to do a really cool version. Bud Powell did it. Dexter Gordon, Long Tall Dex of Los Angeles, the land of law, Central Avenue fame, he also did it, just to name a few. So here we are, folks. Welcome to Where Are We? In this long podcast odyssey. Episode 11 of Rebel Without Applause coming to you, yes, live from my movie studio apartment right here in the Wood of the Holly, dead center in the land of law. I'm trying my best to break it down jazz-wise, joke-wise, culture-wise, and otherwise. Trying to explore the netherworld of my brain, and maybe, just maybe, shed a little light into yours. Such is my calling. Hope you dig. Onward. So, where are we? A little bit of personal news. I finally caught, after a lot of waiting, wave number 1 of 2019. Finally, the rain stopped. The clouds yielded to a bright sun. The wind subsided. And so I ventured up the coast to Rincon. Now, for the uninitiated, Rincon is known as the Queen of the Coast. Rincon is a point break from God just south of the Santa Barbara County enclave of Carpinteria. That's about as close as a clue as I can give you. If you can't find it, it won't matter. You never will. It serves, does Rincon, as a sort of Southern California catcher's mitt for those winter swells that are generated out of the freezing upper reaches of the northern hemisphere. The raging chaos of those polar storms, they barrel out of the Aleutians and the Kamchatka Peninsula, and they pass their windy fury into the ocean. And so that energy of wind becomes the energy of swell. And then those northern hemis radiate southward across the northern Pacific Ocean, organizing themselves from chaos into a swell machine that makes first landfall on the northern shores of the Sandwich Islands, which were so named by the intrepid Captain Cook upon his arrival in 1778, but later, fortunately, renamed the Hawaiian Islands. After which, the swell, these northern hemis, and if you're physics-minded and you're trying to imagine what's really happening through the ocean, think godzillions, and godzillions is a new number that I just made up. Think of just like a massive chain of like godzillions of H2O molecules smashing into each other like cue balls. It's like a train of energy, each cue ball smashing into the other and the next smashing into the other until that energy offers itself up to the hungry surfers in the form of rideable waves on the Pacific coast. Now, under the right condition, with the right swell angles, those cue balls sneak through the outer barrier of those channel islands, and as the water shallows, the energy shows its glorious face at the corner, which, if you translate into Spanish, means, you guessed it, Rincon, or Rincon, if you're an Anglo-white person. And for those intrepid wave riders aggressive enough and skillful enough to get a slice of aquatic glory, there is ample joy to be had. On really great days, when those godzillions of cue balls are getting in, you can catch a wave at the outermost reaches of the Rincon point, known as the indicator. If you get it there, then you can haul ass like there's no tomorrow, and if you're lucky and you're skillful and nobody snakes you, you can barrel on through past the river mouth, which in football terms would be like about the 50-yard line of the whole break. And then if you pump like a bat out of hell into the cove where the pit crew dudes hanging in the shack will be cheering you on like Deion Sanders on an NFL Sunday, and then you make it through the top of the cove, you can set up for that final magic carpet ride in front of the beach. And then with the energy spent, you glide easily on the gurgling edge of whitewater to the shore. Rincon, when it's firing, is indeed a wave of dreams. And like most things of value in life, the competition for that slice of aquatic glory is fierce. Truth be told, I would say 90% of the waves are gobbled up by about 5% of the surfers. Why do those numbers sound familiar? It's almost like the way of everything on Earth. And the rest of the folks there, they just bob in the water like so much jealous flotsam and jetsam, waiting and hoping for that stray wave that they can snag from the pack. Anyway, Saturday when I was there, the waves were only like waist to shoulder high. The crowd was moderate, the water frigging freezing, and fortunately for me, the local Santa Barbarians, not too greedy. So I hung out at the top of the cove and was able to get my share, deposit them into my stoke bank, and leave beautiful Rincon with a smile on my face. Yay. Hooray for me. And then I bundled up all my little surfing gear, and it was time to truck it on back to the Wood of the Holly. Why? The Uberverse awaited. Fresh adventures and new contacts beckoned me southward back into the enchanted land of law. So, let's see. Sunday night, I was hurtling in my space capsule across the LA galaxy and found myself at the massive port of entry. Yep, the greedy jaws of which were gobbling up the big jets at a rate of about one a minute. It was a hideously crowded Sunday night, and after a passenger drop-off from the upper reaches of La Cañada Flint Ridge, I was performing an extraction at LAX. And there they were, two attractive co-eds lurched towards me as I approached the E sign, and one of the girls rolled up with a massive suitcase and without a smile or word left it for me. Risking back surgery number 4, I took my cue and lifted the girl's massive suitcase into my trunk. They popped into my back seat and I hurtled back into the Uberverse toward their final destination. The privileged confines of the University of Southern California. Yeah, baby, USC, Trojan City, Bribe On. Whoops, I meant fight on. No, let's go with bribe on. I think that works now. Anyway, off we went, and there was no hello from the girls, no, hey, how you doing? I felt like I was one of those coolies hauling these British aristocrats on my rickshaw. They didn't say, how are you doing? None of the casual small talk that plays lip service to our common humanity. No deference to the whole ride-sharing ideal, community. Nope, I was merely an invisible, an urban untouchable offering silent and safe transport between 2 points in the ever-expanding, glorious Uberverse. So be it. I don't have to be everybody's pal. I'll just shut up and listen to my favorite lesbian, Rachel Maddow, on my MSNBC app. But actually, I really couldn't listen to Rachel because those two girls, Sabrina and her best girlfriend, they were blabbing away at 100 miles an hour in full-on fluent sorority speak. So I turned down Rachel and did my best to decipher. And through the verbal garbage, I could kind of make out the gist of it. It was all about, guess what? The admissions scandal that had rocked her campus and the country. White privilege, cheating, celebrity, Hollywood, manipulated test scores, fake photos, Proctor Payola had inflamed the wrath of the have-not nation against those prevaricating one-percenters. Two of which, it seemed, were chatting away in my back seat. And I mean it, Sabrina, she was on a roll. It's like, oh my God. It's just like so fucking unfair. It's like so uncool. How fucking mean. We didn't know what our parents were doing. Besides, my grades are good. And I have like 5,000 Instagram follows. So there was no way they're going to kick me out. And if they do, whatever, dude, I'll handle it. I'll just take my transcript and my followers and I'll fucking transfer. I'll just hold tight and like my daddy said, be brave. This'll pass. Because other kids were doing it too and whatever. This is just so fucking unfair to us. What about the seniors and the juniors and the ones who already graduated? Are they going to take their diplomas away? And what about the ones who are working at CAA and WME and Apple and YouTube? Are they going to make them give their jobs back, take away their salaries and their stock options that they fucking earned? No way. Not happening. So why us? It's just I don't know. It's just so unfair. This is just so unconstitutional. And let me tell you this. I earn my grades. My grades are mine. My Instagram followers, they're mine. And the press, oh my God. It's just such, I don't know, it's just such fucking fake news. They're making a huge deal of it, we're evil or something. It's just so unfair. They don't know the real story. They have no clue who I am. You wouldn't believe, on spring break just now, how many texts I got over the break. It's like you really know who your real friends are. The others, the angry ones, they're just mean and jealous. They're jealous that I have tons more followers. Oh my God. And those indictments are just fucking ridiculous. What fucking ever, okay? My dad is a lawyer, and he said this is like a witch hunt, like the Mueller, whatever it is. And on it went. It's like my dad said this. Oh my God, my mom is hysterical now and she wants a divorce, crying in the bathroom, blah, 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 and all it went. On it went. Finally, without a word said by me, I pulled up at the campus, motored past security, and pulled up in front of the dorm. I yanked out that 50-pound roller case and, like a good valet, extended to her the handle with a smile. And then, with all the fake sincerity she could muster, Sabrina said, "Thank you so much." And off they went. No tip forthcoming. So I got back in my car. I swiped my index finger across the green bar on my Uber app, and I ended the trip. And then it was time for my sweet revenge. Time to rate Sabrina. Guess what? I gave her 4 stars. Not 5, as is my custom. 4 frigging stars. I took Sabrina's Uber average and I fucking trashed it. She can never get that star back. That 5th star is gone forever. And let me tell you something. Your parents, yeah, they may be able to get you into USC, but they cannot and never will buy your Uber average. Your Uber average, you fucking earn. That is a number you will take to your grave and beyond, right up to the pearly gates. Because your Uber average is fucking truth. No amount of money or privilege or like whatever can manipulate or rectify that number. At least I think. I hope. I pray. Anyway, 5 minutes later, pull out of SC, and I pick up a Hispanic girl named Martha at the Blue Line train stop on the other side of campus, and she was the same age as Sabrina and just finished her server shift at Taco Bell in Culver City and had taken the train cross town. And in the 5 minutes it took to drive Martha safely to her family apartment in South Central, she told me she just finished high school and was working towards her hairdressing certificate at a local beauty school. I dropped Martha off, wished her a good night, and gave her 5 stars. Okay, there you go. A little adventure in the Uberverse. Where are we? I am zeroing in on my next big audio adventure. I talked a little about it last week. That's Shakespeare's Othello, the Moor of Venice. And I will be playing all the parts, Othello in whiteface, Desdemona in drag. I can't wait. Last week, I offered up some background on the play about Venice, where it takes place, about Othello, the noble Moor who hails from the nether regions of the continent Africanus. And when we think of a Moor, we, meaning those of us, those pale-faced Euros, imagine a land of Arabs, Berbers, and Bedouins, warriors on horseback and camel, fierce Mohammedans, Muslims, where insane cruelty, savage battles, and mind-bending tribal rivalries rule the day. And it is from this wilderness of entrees vast and desert idle, rough quarries, rocks, and hills whose heads touch heaven, that Othello the general hails. But unlike his ethnic cousins, Othello, the last in a line of unnamed North African royals, Othello is a Christian. And as such, he has offered himself up for service to Venice as a defender of Christendom against the faith of his forefathers. A black man serving white masters against the faith of his ancestors. It seems like a heady recipe for some pretty severe identity issues. Can't wait to dig into it. And we will start that next week, the first installment being Act 1, entitled The Beast with Two Backs. So till then, thanks for listening, for hanging with me here at Rebel Without Applause. I'm kind of preparing now to go periscope down into the world of Shakespeare's Othello, and hopefully you'll enjoy that journey with me. And until that time, adios, goodbye, and adieu.